Welcome back to the channel, where real stories reveal raw emotions and unforgettable lessons. If you're new here, make sure to hit subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. Today's story is about betrayal, exposure, and the devastating cost of one reckless choice. A woman thought she could test her fiancé's love with an affair, but instead she lost everything: her family, her career, and the future she thought was guaranteed. This is a story of love destroyed, and the painful truth that some mistakes can never be undone. My name is Clara Jensen, I'm 29, and until recently, I was engaged to Lucas Anderson, 30. We spent 4 years together, one of those officially engaged. Lucas worked in maritime logistics, a demanding career that had him overseeing shipping schedules, port expansions, and international cargo operations. He wasn't just good at what he did, he was magnetic. Lucas stood tall at 6 feet 3 inches, broad-shouldered, and carried himself with a natural confidence that turned heads wherever he went. Women noticed him, always, and deep down I relished the fact that he chose me. But as time went on, the pride I once felt began to twist into something darker: insecurity. And a lot of that insecurity centered around Sophia Lindgren. She had been Lucas's close friend since university. A marine biologist, blonde, athletic, and effortlessly charming, Sophia was everything I wasn't. Worse, she shared his world in a way I never could. They could talk endlessly about marine ecosystems, shipping routes, and environmental concerns. When she laughed at his jokes, it wasn't forced, it was real. And when Lucas looked at her, I saw an ease between them that gnawed at me. He swore there was nothing between them. And, in truth, he never gave me a reason to doubt him. He was loyal, present, transparent. But insecurity doesn't need evidence. Creates its own. Last year, Lucas was tasked with leading a massive port expansion project in Aarhus. It was a career-defining moment, but it came at a cost. Late nights, weekends away, constant phone calls. I should have been supportive. Instead, I felt invisible, like an accessory in his life rather than a partner. That's when I met Jonas Mikkelsen. He owned a trendy restaurant my design firm had recently renovated. He was 32, divorced, charming, and knew exactly how to make someone feel seen. What started as professional exchanges about interior layouts turned into late-night texts, and eventually dinners. The first time he leaned across his car console and kissed me, I didn't resist. What followed was a 3-month affair. I told myself it was meaningless, that it was just physical, but in reality I craved the validation. Jonas made me feel desired, and I became addicted to the attention. Soon I wasn't even trying to hide it. I left my phone lying around. I took calls in the next room, practically daring Lucas to notice. Part of me wanted him to fight for me, to get jealous, to prove that he still cared. 2 weeks before our wedding, he finally did. It was a Tuesday. Lucas came home early from Aarhus. I was in the shower, my phone buzzing with explicit texts from Jonas. Lucas found them. Every message, every photo, every humiliating detail. When I stepped out of the shower, he was sitting on the bed holding my phone. His expression was unreadable. Not anger, not sadness, just something cold and still. "Interesting reading," he said quietly. My stomach dropped. I scrambled for an excuse. "It's not what it looks like. It was a test. I needed to know if you still cared. You've been so distant." The words sounded pathetic even to me. He set the phone down, stood up, and looked at me with disgust. "A test," he said flatly. "You slept with another man, as a test?" "I didn't mean for it to go that far," I pleaded. "It just happened." "Get dressed," he interrupted, his voice sharp and final. "You're embarrassing yourself." He began packing, methodically, like he was preparing for a business trip. I begged him, clung to him, cried until my throat burned. He didn't flinch. When he finally reached the door, he paused. He took my hand, not with tenderness but with finality, and slid the engagement ring, his grandmother's heirloom, off my finger. "You don't love me, Clara," he said. "You love what I represent." the image of us. But if you truly loved me, you never would have felt the need to test it. And with that he walked out. Within 24 hours my world collapsed. Lucas exposed everything. He sent the messages, the photos, even my cruel jokes about him, to everyone. Family, friends, co-workers, and worst of all, the 150 guests on our wedding list. He cancelled the venue, the caterer, the photographer, every detail of the wedding. Since everything was under his name, the refunds went straight back to him. By the next morning, my phone was filled with rejection and rage. My father, you are no longer my daughter. My mother, do not come home. My boss, we need to discuss your role here. Don't come in today. My maid of honor, lose my number. Even Jonas cut me off, blocking me and telling mutual friends I was unstable. And Lucas, he was already gone. Within weeks, he and Sophia were posting pictures from the Maldives, the honeymoon that was supposed to be ours. My engagement ring, once a symbol of our future, was sold to pay for their trip. The humiliation was absolute. My career in design was destroyed. My family disowned me. Every friend disappeared. Within months, Lucas and Sophia were officially together, living in the apartment I had spent years designing, building a life I thought would be mine. And then came the final blow. Months later, I saw them in Copenhagen. Hand in hand, Sophia's belly visibly swollen. She was pregnant. Lucas's face radiated joy I had never seen from him before. They were living the life I threw away. Today I live on Bornholm, working a modest job at a hotel. No one here knows my name or my past. To them, I'm just another woman starting over. But inside, I know the truth. I had everything and I destroyed it. I wrote Lucas a letter I'll never send. In it, I told him he was right. I never truly loved him, not the real him. I loved what he gave me: status, security, pride. I admitted that Sophia sees him in a way I never did. I told him I hoped their child would inherit his kindness and her smile. Then I burned the letter. Because words won't change what I did. I'm 29, and it feels like my life ended before it began. People say time heals all wounds, but some wounds don't heal. A scar. And some mistakes are simply too big to forgive yourself for. And that's where today's story ends, with a lesson that's as painful as it is unforgettable. Sometimes the consequences of our choices are permanent, and sometimes the hardest truth is realizing you can't go back. If this story hit you hard, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real stories that remind us of the fragile balance between love, trust, and betrayal. Until next time, take care.